Hello and welcome. So, excuse me. Today should be the first truly daily bite. The first bite-sized daily bite. Because I'm only gonna do one of these, and I'm still gonna. Oops, sorry. I'm following the format that I've been recently coming upon, still filling magical dimensions, oracle cards, and activators. I'm just gonna hush up and allow this to come out. Two cards, okay. Number 43 and 4. 33 and 4, sorry. We have Breakthrough, which is Leap of Faith, Freedom, and New Beginnings. And the Root Portal, Vitality, Stability, and Survival, and Fearful. Oh, I love that. It's time to break through. It's like breaking ground to expand the foundation. Wait, can I turn this down? With my watch. I can. I can't. Is this not connected to my phone? 1 second. I'm sorry. This is completely unnecessary, but Institute of International Education. Okay. There we go. Nice. Alright. So, Leap of Faith is obviously going to be the Fool. And I'm actually going to pull the Archangel Power cards because New Beginnings and Leap of Faith are the actual titles of the cards. And so. Also, fun fact, I found the man holding a heart yesterday. There's some stuff I needed to do, and I was basically called out, so I just went ahead and did it. Because I've been putting it off for a minute, so. Okay, if I could reach down here and get these. Hello? So yeah, I found the man holding a heart yesterday. He's a little bent out of shape, but he's alright. He's okay. And I was gonna come back live and be like, oh, I'm doing some oracle, not readings, but using these oracle cards because I just found the man holding a heart. And so on the root side, it's vitality, stability, and survival, and fearful. the root portal. I'm going to use the... I'll actually use the Mystic Mondays. I'll use the Mystic Mondays today. If y'all can't hear me, I apologize, but if I'm not heard, I'm not meant to be, so... How sorry am I, really? And I'm going to use these because it's the root portal, right? And these are like, they have a very crystalline sort of feel. And crystals come out of the ground. So it's more... Let's see. Then I guess I'll take a picture and I'll use it for the thumbnail. For the thumbnail. I've been so singy. I almost cried today. Because I was hungry and my mom showed up with a breakfast sandwich. And I was like, wow, I was literally just thinking about eating something. Oh, I didn't even see that. Sorry, I was not up. Or I was up, but my phone was muted still from the previous night. Eventually and slowly but surely, I'm going to put more effort into these and not just be like, it is what it is. Even though I don't necessarily feel like it, but it's just what I'm being called to do. I'm going to start with the breakthrough. And these are not... You know what? I'm going to switch these back to all upright because... I don't know how to read these not all upright. Actually, I'll step up to the plate. I'll take the challenge. And I think New Beginnings... Oh, no, that's the word. Okay. Sometimes when you get decks that are like made like this and even like this with this card stock or this glossy stock, when you first get them, they like stick together. But after a while, they loosen up. And these have loosened up, so I was like, that's nice. But yeah, I'm eating a breakfast sandwich, and then I just get like super emotional. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Where's the moon? Where is the moon? Is it in Cancer? Oh my gosh! Hold up. Because if it's in Cancer, I'm going to laugh. Okay, the moon is not in Cancer. The moon is 29 degrees Gemini right now, but it's about to be Cancer. So I'm probably going to cry today. And that's fine. Because I was like, it's just a breakfast sandwich. Like, why am I so overcome with, like, gratitude? But then I was like, you know what? I'll just feel it. Okay. Let me not speed through this, but I'll do it one more. To make this bite a little more bite-sized. Okay. So I'm going to be searching for the leap of faith first. Divine guidance is at the bottom of the deck. I don't know why I look towards the bottom, because that's not what I do. First card out is the world in reverse. And then solutions in reverse. And then peace in reverse. It's interesting. 3 majors. Looking for a leap of faith. There's new beginnings. With the Ace of Michael in reverse. Oh, snap. There's the Lovers with the 5 of Raphael. Did I say the Ace of Michael? That was the Ace of Raphael. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I do that. strengthen the chariot together. There's a leap of faith. So I'm going to put this face down, and it's upright. Yes, I love that. Before the leap of faith was this Three of Gabriel in reverse. I've been seeing the Three of Wands a lot lately. Three of Gabriel says, prosperity arising from wise planning, time to take the next step, optimistic plans that turn out as expected. And as Three of Wands style, you can see the ship coming, you know. Well, these cards are big. That's about half the deck right there. Next, I'm going to be looking for freedom. Which card is freedom? Peace or solutions? Freedom. Could be the Chariot. Well, the Sagittarian card is... Wait, the Angel comes before the Devil. What comes after the Devil? The Tower? So I'm going to look for the Tower for freedom. Because the Tower is what comes after you've escaped the chains from the Devil, right? After you've escaped, then it's like things shake out because you realize the sort of how much he had you chained and how deep those toxic roots went, actually, how deep the roots actually went. And so it shakes things up because you're like, whoa, this is also affected by that? And it's like, yep. So I'm going to be looking for the Tower because, I mean, I could look for the Chariot, but that's more movement. The Star comes after the Tower, and then the Moon, and then the Sun. Yeah, I'll just do the Tower. First card out is the Leap of Faith. Of course it is. The Tower's number 16, so can't remember what it's called in this deck. I'm pretty sure it's not the Tower. It may be Solutions. May not be. There's New Beginnings. I'll be looking for you next. There's the Star. Perspective. Empress. Change your life. That's what it is in this deck. It's in reverse. So great. Tower in reverse would mean that you already went through the Tower and got the freedom from... Ooh, another one upright. Love that. And got the freedom from that Devil. And then the King of Gabriel, King of Wands, is behind this Tower. Change your life says... A sudden revelation that offers freedom. See, there you go. That's why I look for it. Break free. There again. Of procrastination, embrace the opportunities that change brings. I was like, I know there's a reason why I'm looking for that card. Freedom and free. 'Cause I'm free to do what I want, to be who I please. Yeah, I'm free to go see the world. Ooh, okay. Goodness. Venus be acting up in my charts. Let me stop. That's just my mind. It's just my mind. I can tell that I've been in a good mood though. If like my mind goes to places like that, then it's like I'm returning to self. Alright, now we're gonna look for the Leap of Faith. First card out is the Five of Gabriel in reverse. That's Five of Wands in reverse. I love that. Lovers. Looking for new beginnings, and there's new beginnings. Oh, we got one that came up in reverse. That's fine. Bottom of the deck overall is the High Priestess in reverse. Okay, that's interesting. So before New Beginnings was the Page of Gabriel. So we saw the King of Gabriel in Freedom, and then the Page of Gabriel on New Beginnings. So this is very much a Page 2.0, like I've been saying lately here. It's like, you know, the king is free, and it's not that he's neglected his kingdom and he's been dethroned or anything, but I feel like for a long time the king was very, because the King of Gabriel is like Leo energy, right? It's fixed fire. And so it's like for a long time the king wanted other people to have this sort of perception about him. And so there were a lot of ways that even though as the king he should be one of the most liberated and free in the kingdom because he makes all the rules and the decisions, right? But it was like he was trying to maintain this image that no longer gelled with who he was. And I just unplugged this. So it's time to disconnect that from the power because it was literally plugged into nothing. So why am I wasting juice? Right? It's time to disconnect from that and to seek something that is more fitting to this increased level of authenticity. And so that's why the king is going back to that page energy to sort of rediscover himself and rediscover what that is. This Page of Gabriel is energetic, brave, optimistic, and playful. Follow your passions. You are ready for any challenge. Opportunities for excitement and adventure, right? I feel like with that king, with the king's fixed fire, it's like things got kind of stale. It's not really exciting when you have the same routine day in and day out. You wake up, you get briefed on the events in the kingdom, your counselors and advisors come in, you decide if anything needs to change. Then if it does, you change it. If it doesn't, then it's just like, you know, whatever. And then it's like your life day in and day out. But now it's time to take a step back from the monotony and to allow yourself to be seen in brand new ways, to allow yourself to experience new things. The overall that came out for this breakthrough, I'm actually going to read it first. Breakthrough was number 4, I believe. I shift so much. I didn't realize how much I shift around until I watched that one video back. I was like, wow, I move a lot. It's fine. So breakthrough. I want you to know you're about to break free. You're about to break loose. Yeah. Jesus took the key and gave it to you. Here's what you gotta do. Shake loose everything that binds you up. Who told you that you can't make it when God said that you can take it? I want you to know you're about to break free. I love that song. I actually danced to that song in church back in the day. I used to dance and sing, and I was in like school plays and stuff like that in elementary school, and I stopped doing that when I went to middle school because that was gay, and I didn't want people to suspect, you know. Not that it is, but, you know, at the time, it was one of the things that people could call me out for. And so I stopped doing a lot of things that I like to do because I was trying to hide who I was. Then I became a robot. I became that king of wands where I was very, like, I wanted to be seen a certain way. And so I made necessary sacrifices. And then, you know, then you come into this Page of Wands energy where you rediscover yourself and you allow yourself to be who you are. I'm not even going to apologize anymore. It just is what it is. Breakthrough number 4. This is, again, leap of faith, freedom, and new beginnings. The celestial interpretation is, breakthrough resonates to the exhilaration of risk-taking, It requires loving allowance to begin something new, because new experiences require the old patterns to be dissolved, transmuted, and ultimately transformed. Success what? Success into this shift means, okay, success into the shift means that all the pieces come together and things finally make sense. This clarity inspired ray brings fresh new perspectives and new foundations to be built that will ultimately flourish with ease and grace. The oracle interpretation is: you may be stepping into unfamiliar territory. Talking about, what was it, 2 days ago. I love this kind of sort of transition I feel like I've been on. What was it? Illumination, truth portal, and exploration. And then yesterday was wisdom was last. Empowerment was second. Utopia, empowerment, and wisdom. Oh my gosh. I love this series of, I don't know. I love the messages because it's like this deck has lots of cards, right? Lots of different meanings. So it could be anything, but sorry. You may be stepping into unfamiliar territory and you are being asked to have faith. Freedom is important right now, and you must be allowed to express yourself. This is good timing for a new partnership or business venture, but it will require your full trust in taking the necessary steps forward into the unknown. This is also a time for lightning bolt transformation of a spiritual nature. All for your positive growth. I'm sorry. I need to stop apologizing. The companion crystals are sandstone and red quartz, and the companion essential oil is juniper. Ooh, I love it said lightning bolt inspiration, and then I went for that tower. So thank you for doubly, triply confirming that I was supposed to go for that tower, because I was like, tower? What? For freedom? A lot of people don't see it that way. But that is the energy of Uranus or Pluto. I'm curious now. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can see what Benabel put on that. Because I know Scorpio is death. The tower might be Uranus. I feel like it resonates to Uranus energy. Maybe more than Pluto. But we'll see. Mars. She puts the tower as Mars. Okay, Mars. Oh, wait, Uranus wasn't invented yet. Just kidding. Uranus wasn't discovered. It's only the 7 heavenly bodies, right? And so that's the 7 inner planets, are the planets minus Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Back in the traditional astrology and tarot. That's why in Vedic they only go up until like Saturn, right? Because Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto weren't discovered yet. But then you get Rahu and Ketu. Okay. So in the spot of leap of faith, we have this 4 of Ariel. The 4 of Ariel says, when you give, you also receive, being resistant to change and extremes in how you save or spend money. So with this leap of faith, I feel like what it's going to require, especially in the breakthrough, if we take, I didn't even read the overall, I'll do the overall last. Especially if we take the part about partnerships and business ventures that are going to require trust. I feel like it may have been the case maybe in the past where we were in positions where we overly gave to things, and so we never fully showed up to the situation. we were never fully allowed to be completely and 100% present in the situation because there was maybe, because this is for the Four of Pentacles energy, right? Because it required, because we gave too much, right? But now with this leap of faith, it's like we're going to be asked to give our all to the situation, sort of regardless of what happened in the past. Um, and honestly, at the end of the day, I don't, because see, there's a difference between like giving something your all and being like clingy, I think. And it's funny because I was literally just thinking about this, and now here I am thinking about this. But in my mind, it's like there's a difference between giving something your all and being clingy, right? Because a lot of times I feel like when someone is clingy, they cling out of a sort of fear of being alone with the self or out of a fear of being left, right? But when you can show up to a situation and give it your all, it's like basketball. Even though I had a dream about football last night, and I'm like, really? Y'all got me playing football in dreams now? Okay, I'll put myself on the bench. So let's go to football then, because I had a dream about football last night. You give everything you have on the field. You give 100% and sometimes more. But I feel like it's very much that energy. It's the energy of completely or more fully exploring the realm of your potential. And so with this Four of Pentacles, I feel like it's going to be very important that you don't, when it comes to this breakthrough, maybe there was something in the past that kept you from fully giving or receiving. It could be fully giving or receiving love, fully giving or receiving attention, fully giving or receiving, like, especially giving, like putting your effort into something. Maybe you in the past didn't really go all in on anything, or maybe in the past it's like you weren't able to receive recognition or attention, right? And so because you didn't want to receive any attention, you downplayed yourself, and so you gave less so that you would sort of blend in. But this is saying it's time to stop doing that. It's time to embody who you are 100% completely and fully, going back to that empowerment yesterday, especially with that sun card in the empowerment yesterday. Now coming into this breakthrough, this is one of the things that you need to break through. Not allowing yourself to completely give or receive of yourself. Next is this Two of Raphael. When it comes to freedom, oh my gosh, you got the Two of Cups and freedom. How that work? I don't know. Some people be like, I like being single because when I'm single, like, I ain't got nobody to answer to. I'm free. And it's like, okay. But you could also, potentially find a partnership where you are free and still, you got a buddy there. But this says two hearts dedicated to creating something wonderful, kindred spirits, and don't give up on those you love. And again, this is sitting in the space of freedom, and freedom is coming after that tower moment, right? And so maybe this Four of Pentacles kind of sort of energy. I mean, Four of Pentacles will cause a lot of towers, right? And I wasn't necessarily gonna take the relationship as, I mean, it doesn't have to be a relationship. Energy is sort of fluid and it flows in between many dynamics, right? This could be a business venture. Like that could be someone that you were gonna go into business with. Someone, or it could be a job opportunity, right? Because even when you get hired at a company, like that's still a business partnership, right? You are giving them your time, energy, and effort, and they are compensating you for that, adding you to their workforce, maybe investing in you in like trainings and other stuff. But it's a partnership, right? And I feel like a lot of times, and this is something that I didn't even necessarily too much know until I met with one of the people on campus in my last semester. I had him look over my resume and stuff, and the type of questions that he was like, you should ask in an interview. I was like, what? You can ask people that? Like you can ask that? You can say that? And he was like, yeah, because this is your job and your livelihood just as much as it is like them finding somebody to work for, right? It's like a partnership. You should both get something out of it, and you just getting a paycheck sometimes isn't enough. Like, what are the benefits? Like, do you offer sort of like growth opportunities, and are they compensated for? You know, like, what's upward mobility or mobility look like in the company? Like, and then he was like, you know, when, like, whenever they ask if you have questions at the end, he was like, you know, and sometimes you can even ask like what their workers would say the work environment is like, or what kind of complaints do they typically get. And I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, it makes sense. But I feel like a lot of times I've sort of, oh, it's 11:11. Look at that. Y'all can't see it. It's upside down, but it's 11:11. Hey, I just looked at it. Um, and we got the Two of Cups. Let me stop. um, because it makes sense though, right? But I feel like a lot of times it's like, oh, well, they're giving me a job, and I should just be grateful for the money, especially if it's good money. Then what more can I ask for? And also, he was like, you know, there's a difference in between your take home pay, like what you actually get paid, and your benefits. Like, those are two different things. And so if they're like, we can pay you this, but we offer you that in benefits, like the money that you get in benefits, you don't too much get. Like, you don't take that home. You can't pay bills with your benefits. You can't eat your benefits. You know what I mean? And the sort of perspective that he had, I mean, that was a breakthrough for me in terms of how I view employment and how I view professional relationships, especially ones that are more just like employer employee, like, or employee and company, not even employer. It's just like the company at large. But that's still a relationship, that's still a partnership, and both people should still benefit more so than just, you know, like a few dollars. Hold up. Excuse me. Oh, my allergies just decided to kick in out of nowhere. Oh, excuse me. Well, I have been sleeping with two fans on, and the air is really dry in the house, so I wake up and my, like, throat be all dry. I was gonna get a humidifier, but I was like, I mean, typically I only need humidifiers in the winter, and then you get a dehumidifier in the summer because it's so humid. But maybe I will have to go and get a humidifier. I had one, but I dropped it on the top. And then, of course, whenever you talk to some engineer, because I'm like, I dropped it and it fell on the top. How did the bottom break? And he was like, well, it's the transfer of, you know, the forces, you know. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. You mechanical engineer and your physics knowledge, get out of here. You're supposed to be bewildered and amazed with me at how the bottom could break when it fell on the top. And it's also interesting. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but maybe that's related to this breakthrough in some way. But because when we flew to London, November 2018, we were playing this game on the screen on the back of the, you know, the flight seats, the seats, and it was kind of sort of like this Angry Birds type game, but without the copyright or trademark or whatever infringement. You know what I mean? It's not like Angry Birds was even the first Angry Birds. I feel like there were other sort of games before Angry Birds, especially on the websites back in the day. There definitely were. But I started way before him, and then he caught up, and he beat me. And I was like, how are you doing so well? And he was like, it's physics. I'm like, oh my gosh, get out of here. Get out of here. um, Maybe I need to turn my music up. I'm listening to meditation music today, like all day, because I woke up and that's what I felt like to do. So I'm listening to it right now. That's why I was a little more hushed at the beginning. But no, oh my gosh, I don't even remember how to use this. That card don't even work no more. That account is closed. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh no, she's exposed. Ooh, talk about a breakthrough. Maybe somebody gonna be exposing themselves. coming in with this Two of Cups. But anyway, there's a certain understanding of the forces that he had at play and how those forces sort of move through the world and how they are distributed. And when you come upon some impact, how the distribution of the forces from that impact could cause cracks. Okay, that's where I'm going. It can cause cracks far removed from the actual area of impact. And I feel like especially with this Four of Ariel, maybe coming into these Two of Raphael energy, that's why it's like, we can be affected in one area of our lives, or we can have one relationship that is very impactful to us in a negative way or in a positive way. Impact can be either, right? But then it causes these ripples further outward into other situations where we may not even necessarily know why it's affecting us that way. And that's how healing works, honestly. It's like, because especially, it's like the earlier in life you got hurt and the longer it went unhealed, the further or the more opportunity it had to like fester and grow and infect other areas. And you can come upon these moments. Ooh, was that a wheeze, girl? That's why I need a humidifier. They'd be too dry. And it's hot, so I can't just turn the fans off. And that's why sometimes, when we do a little bit of healing and then we face difficulties or blockages in other situations and we find out it's related to something that we believe we've already healed, we're like, what? This is affecting me here too? And it's like, yeah, it's spread. And that's why you gotta go deep and like go to the source of the healing. Because if you only try to do like these site directed or site specific sort of like treatment things, like if you put a band-aid on it over here because this is where the blood is coming out, but the actual wound is all the way back here, it's just going to find a different area to then spring out, right? It's like leaky pipes. Like if you patch up one area but you don't fix the blockage, it's just going to burst in another area. Leaky pipes, talking about water. So, Two of Raphael, two hearts dedicated to creating something wonderful, kindred spirits, and don't give up on those you love, connected to the space of freedom in this breakthrough. I feel like someone, even in the space of partnerships, is realizing, like I said, that you can be in partnerships of any kind and still have a certain level of freedom, especially a good partnership. You can be in a good partnership, one that is equal give and take, one where with this Four of Pentacles, where it's like you're not showing up being completely who you are. If you come to the table, the negotiating table, the bargaining table, the communion table, where folks just gather, right? And if you are completely and 100% yourself, when you enter this partnership, you're not going to have to worry about, well, maybe this person won't like me because of this, or maybe they won't like me because of that. Maybe I'll get fired if I'm like this. Maybe I'll get fired if I'm like that. It's like, if you're upfront and honest about it upfront, you can find those more genuine partnerships that don't require as much self-sacrifice. And the sacrifice that it does recover won't be a sacrifice of who you are as a person. And so there's this increased amount of freedom in a situation where you may have been typically tied up in the past, but you were tied up in the past because there was a certain level of disclosure that was absent either on your side, their side, or both sides. But partnership doesn't have to be what's the word? Incarceration, right? You don't have to feel trapped and incarcerated when you're with a partner, especially not a good partner. But that's that freedom, right? This is the breakthrough. And then the Page of Raphael in reverse for new beginnings. And so the Page of Raphael is gentle, loving, dreamy, and open-hearted. Do you know anyone who's gentle, loving, dreamy, and open-hearted? A new emotional situation. Messages regarding relationships or social invitations, and great intuitive insights. In reverse. So this is about relationships. I feel like this breakthrough. But like I said, everything is a relationship when you really think about it. Everything is connection, everything is a relationship. Even like your job is one relationship, but your job allows you to progress further in your relationship with money, right? And then your relationship with money affects your relationship with your 3D reality, right? It affects your relationship with your family, maybe. If, like, you go from a time where there is a sort of absence of money, or there's a perceived absence of money or a lack of money, and then it creates all of these pressures in the home. Money also affects your relationship, or in your 3D reality, it's like your home in general, your level of comfort. It might affect your relationship with your body in terms of your diet, in terms of the food that you can and can't afford, what's quick and easy. Your job can affect your relationship with other people and with yourself, right? Because it's a demand on your time. So the time that you give to your job, you're not giving to other places. So, like, everything is interconnected. Everything is a relationship. So this doesn't have to be a partnership between, like, a romantic partnership between two people, or even a platonic partnership between two people, right? This could be anything. Everything is a relationship. What is your relationship with money like? Just think about that. But with this page of Raphael in reverse, this speaks to new endeavors that were cut short, I believe. And this may be returning to the situation. And it's a new beginning, and it's not an old space, because I feel like it wasn't fully explored, but it's a new beginning in a land that you've already been. But it's like you had a few feet into the door. You took a few steps into the door, and then you were ejected, or you turned around and you left. It's almost like a haunted house. I don't know why I'm feeling it like a haunted house. But it's like, you allow your friends to convince you to go into the haunted house, and you walk in, and then, like, no one's even jumped out yet, but it's just like dark, and the person behind you breathed, and you're like, oh my gosh, what was that? And so you run out of the house, but now it's time to go back into the house. It's like you went outside, you've bolstered your confidence. Your friends are like, you got this, you can do it, like, be brave, it's going to be so fun by the end of it. And you're like, okay, I can go back in there. And you go back in the haunted house, and then the lights come on, and they're like, surprise! And it's a surprise party, I guess, because... And you're like, what? And, oof, okay. But yeah, that's this energy. The surprise is coming. With this High Priestess in reverse, the High Priestess upright is Archangel Haniel. And it's powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information, and be at peace. And this talked about great spiritual insights. So I feel like there's definitely spiritual insights. And with this in reverse, I feel like there were spiritual insights of the past. Maybe spiritual insights about how you were kind of sort of, if you weren't the cause of this disrest, it's kind of sort of how you played into it. And the limited perspective that you brought to the table that contributed to a sort of disharmony, right? And that goes back to this four of Ariel right here. The reason why you kind of sort of handle situations the way you handle them is because in the past you weren't able to, for whatever reason, show up completely and 100% yourself. So you couldn't fully give or receive. And when you weren't fully open to giving or receiving, it puts you in this sort of like that Four of Pentacles, hoardy, greedy, miserly type of role. But now it's time to let that go. It's time to open up, be completely 100% authentically yourself, so that when you enter these partnerships, they're genuine partnerships, and so you don't feel trapped. You still feel a sense of freedom. And then, with the new beginnings, it's like, go after it. I'm going to slide these over here. But yeah, with that High Priestess, I feel like, you'll be seeing the ways that you sort of disturbed or kept yourself from peace in the past. Ooh, Ace of Wands at the top of the deck. I believe this deck has reversals in it too, so I'm not using an all upright deck today, besides the oracles, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know why that was so guttural. Wait, is this all upright? No, it's not. Cut into the Ten of Cups. Hey, Ten of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. But yeah, I feel like you've received the insights. And now you are going through this breakthrough type of healing mode. Coming out of that tower to get the freedom that you want, but also the things that you want. Okay. So this is Vitality. For Vitality, I'm going for the Sun card, because that's literally one of the messages of the Sun card is Vitality. So, yeah, I know. Well, let me look at all these first. So Vitality, I'm going to go for the Sun. For Stability and Survival, what's the survival? I could go for Strength, because I feel like, survival of the fittest, and it's a lion. But also Stability. I feel like Strength isn't necessarily stability. I'm feeling the Nine of Wands. Even the Nine of Wands or the Seven of Wands for Stability and Survival. And I'm mostly playing off of the survival part of it. I'm going to go for the Nine of Wands, because the Nine of Wands is the fighter. The Nine of Wands holds the line and defends it. And then for Fearful, I'm going to go with the Nine of Swords. Yep. So the Sun, the Nine of Wands, and then the Nine of Swords. First card out is the Nine of Swords in reverse. Ooh, and then going into the 6, 7, the Seven of Swords. Looking for that Sun card first. Ooh, Four of Wands. That Ten of Cuppies. Oh, that was it. That was it. Oh, well, now we see what the card was. It's the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Should I take it? I'm actually going to take this card, and I'm going to put it on top since we already saw it. I was like, what? This is only like the third time I've seen the Sun card in this deck. And behind it was that Princess of Swords in reverse. And this is the root portal. This is about vitality, right? See, the thing about the root portal and the breakthrough, though, like I said, it's like we're breaking through ground to expand the foundation. And if the foundation was solid, if the foundation was good, we wouldn't be breaking through it, right? Because we're not only expanding the foundation, we're breaking through the old foundation and then expanding it. We're basically rebuilding the foundation because it wasn't that great, honestly. And that's why, you can tell the foundation wasn't that great because the Four of, Pentacles was the first card out. It's like, okay, well, Oh, wait, I gotta flip these because this deck has reverse, so I do it like this to make sure I get those reversals in there, you know what I mean? Because I don't want the same cards to be reversed if I only do it one time. So that's why I just go ahead, get them reverses enough. Oh! Oh, what's that? I'm not gonna look at them. Alright, next I'm looking for the Nine of Wands. First card out is the Five of Wands. Ooh. Followed by Judgment. Followed by the Five. Followed by the Lovers. Followed by the Four. Followed by the Nine of Wands. Whoop, there she is. Gonna take this. Behind the Nine of Wands was that Four of Pentacles. To me, that's in reverse, but to you, it looks upright. I'm going to say it's Four of Pentacles in reverse. And I'm going to say it's learning to let that go. excuse me, is starting to open up. I'm learning to be vulnerable. You see how it just didn't rotate them that time? I'm gonna have this on all day. I'm already feeling zen. Okay, let's just go. Looking for the Nine of Swords now for Fearful. First card out is the Emperor in reverse. And the Ten of Cups. Five of Swords. Is that upright? Is it in reverse? I don't know. Oh, that was the 10. I was like, oh no, did I just mess it up? The Wheel of Fortune is turning on this Ten of Swords. Amen. Hallelujah. Let me slow down a little bit. So I don't want to have to, another repeat of what happened the last time. Nine of Wands. Okay, there. I was about to say like we got the whole deck this time. Bottom of the deck is, what is that? The Three of Cups. Yes, I love that. And then before the Nine of Wands is this Knight of Pentacles. So slowly but surely, someone is getting over their fears. They are conquering the fears. And then the Ace of Cups was left under that Three of Cups. Love that. I'm actually gonna, before I forget that these aren't all facing the same way, I'm gonna turn these over. And then the Sun in reverse was behind that High Priestess in reverse. And the Sun in reverse could just be coming out of this state, because the Sun was the first card I pulled for with Vitality, right? So coming out of this and into this breakthrough, after we've resolved our root chakra issues. And root chakra issues lead to instability, lead to just a disrupted, distorted creations, especially coming right, or leading right into that sacral and solar plexus. So I'm going to read this root portal. I'm going to read the root portal, and that was number 33. I'm going to read the root portal. Root portal. That was number 33. The celestial interpretation. Primal grounding forces. 1 second, sorry. Primal grounding forces connect us with Earth and our tribal beliefs. The root or base chakra is the basis of our energy system and regulates physical harmony and mental and emotional energies of stability, security, and sensuality. 1 second. Okay. I had to push that back in my tail. In sensuality, our connection runs deeply within Mother Earth, and we must remember to honor the roots that flow into the ground, keeping connected and stable. Let me shift so I can actually read this. Take these out. The oracle interpretation is Mother Earth showed up again. She showed up yesterday in empowerment. And then here we're talking about fixing the root chakra, so it makes sense. The oracle interpretation is your vital energy, chi, or immune system may be depleted, and you need to regain strength by by engaging grounding exercises and or reconnecting to Gaia. You need to stabilize your energy and become grounded. You're always fully supported. All your needs are taken care of. Know this. Don't let yourself succumb to fear. You are strong and powerful with radiant vitality and confidence. Stand strong on the earth and take good care of yourself. Companion crystals are black tourmaline and hematite, and the companion essential oil is bergamot. Bergamot. I love bergamot. Oh my gosh. I also have a black tourmaline up there somewhere. Is it tourmaline or obsidian? Shout out to that video that y'all never saw. Because it took me like 50 minutes to get a video set up, and I have 4 piles. I was like, I am not making this a 5-hour video where 1 hour is me rambling and setting up. Even though there could have been some good info in there, anecdotal information, but I was like, it ain't happening. Not happening, Catney. So, when it comes to our vitality, clarified by the Sun card is... Oh, so the 9 of Pentacles is upright, and the 10 of Pentacles is in reverse. Look at this peacock. I wore my peacock earrings yesterday. And look at that sun behind the peacock. Interesting. I feel like there's a certain amount of independence here in the root. And it's interesting that this is going to be leading us into this, and I don't know why I read it backwards. But yesterday I started in the middle, and then went to the beginning, and then went to the end. I just read it how I feel it. But when it comes to vitality, I feel like what we gained from being in this 4 of Ariel, 4 of Pentacles state was a mindset to take care of ourselves. Because maybe there was a point where we were overly dependent on other people. And it isn't even necessarily like being... I feel like it was a level of dependence to the point where you wouldn't have walked away from something if it was toxic because you depended on it, right? So let's say that you have a bunch of bad jobs and you are treated very, very, very poorly at those jobs. But you have the mindset of like, oh, I need the money, so I'm not going to quit, right? But that's the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. That's you sort of being dependent on someone else to fulfill that thing instead of having enough sort of belief in yourself to know that you'll be, like the entry said, like your needs will be taken care of no matter where you go, right? But let's say that you've come into an experience where you know your self-worth. And so if you have a job where you're not appreciated in the future, you'll be like, you know what? I'm not appreciated here. My efforts aren't acknowledged. So I'm going to quit and I'm going to find something that suits me. That could be a job. That could be a relationship. That could be anything, right? Everything is a relationship. And when you reach that point where you are solid enough in yourself that even if you are depending on someone else to sort of fulfill a sort of need in your life or a want in your life, right? Because that's what partnerships are about. It's equal give and take. Both parties benefit in some way, but it's not to be so stuck into what you get from something or somebody else that you allow yourself to be compromised, right? And so there's nothing wrong with depending on someone dependable, and there's nothing wrong with working together with someone or something to make ends meet or to meet a certain end, right? But if it compromises who you are, then it's probably a no-go. And so this is a self-vitality. This is a strength within yourself, coming into your own sun, knowing your worth enough to not have to put up with these types of situations. And this is a feminine energy when it's in reverse, right? And so maybe also for someone, it's going to be being able to receive and still stand strong in who you are, right? Potentially. Because let's say for some reason, like you get you a partner with some money and you ain't got to work no more. Then it's like you can receive that money, because this is a downward pointing triangle, which is feminine, because that's the element of water. You can receive that money. You can receive that financial, but know that like what you're sort of giving is like, you can receive that without it compromising your sense of self. and without you being then forming like some over attachment to that energy, right? Because like if you start to receive and you're like, oh, I'm set, I ain't really got to do nothing, but then if this turns sour, you be like, you know what? I don't care how much money you got, I'm gone. But also, this is just going to be like, it's going to make you fruitful in so many areas. I feel like that's when you really start to get into the space of attracting things that you actually want, and knowing when things that you're attracting kind of sort of aren't necessarily for you, right? And you can lean into something not being for you without having to be like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing opportunity, even though it's like not what I'm necessarily looking for, or even though I would have to like do this or do that, and it's something that really doesn't vibe with me. It's an amazing opportunity. I see that, but I'm gonna wait for something better suited for me to come. And I think that's what I might have to hit that one lab with, because like it is an amazing opportunity, but something about it just doesn't. It's not sitting right with me. Because I think that might have been the company that did like animal testing, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Not that I've necessarily cared before, but it's just not sitting right with me right now. It's like there'll be another way, there'll be a better way, and there'll be a way more suited to what I am projected to move into, I'll say. But you know, in the past, that would have been an amazing opportunity. So next is stability and survival, and we have that Four of Wands. I feel like the Four of Wands is all about building a home, right? A stable enclosure for that passion, for that drive, for that fire, where it can burn bright, you can tend to it, and it won't spread and sort of engulf everything, right? Also, if we do talk about sort of other things Four of Wands related, I feel like this is a true level of partnership. And it's a level of partnership where even if there is one partner that does more of this than the other, that person will understand that the other person does more of that than this. It's like this equal give and take. Or it's just like it doesn't. It's like the material things, the stuff doesn't matter. What matters is this fire. What matters is how you feel. What matters is like fulfilling those drives and passions, right? Because you can have all of the material in the world, but if it doesn't fulfill you at all, then you'll never be satisfied. You know what I mean? But when it comes to stability and survival, I feel like the Four of Wands is a perfect card if you think about a fire for stability and survival, right? Because you need fire to survive. It's a light in the dark. You cook with it. It wards off certain nocturnal predators, maybe. But also at the same time, with that Four of Wands, it keeps it from burning, the whole campground down. So it plays both of those roles, but it's also this element of celebration. But this is a celebration of the small things as well. This is an appreciation and a gratitude for the things that you already have, right? Because a huge celebration would be, I don't know, like a sun card. What is it? Wheel of Fortune? Well, that's not when you celebrate it. Maybe like a Ten of Cups. The Four of Wands is, oh, like the world. The world would be like a huge celebration, like a huge chapter closing, a huge, like celebration of a huge milestone would be the world card, right? But for these, like, in between moments, we have this Four of Wands, which is still a celebration. It's still happy, it's still fun, but it's not the big one. This is celebrating and appreciating the little milestones along the way to get to where we're going, right? And also, it carries that energy of appreciating what we have, right? Like if it's dark outside, if it's cold, and you're hungry, and all you have is this fire, you could say, at least we're warm by the fire, right? At least we could sleep a little more peacefully, knowing that this fire isn't gonna. I mean, typically you don't sleep with the fire burning, but you need the warmth. So, and it's not going to burn out, or it's not going to expand, right?
That's the energy of like appreciating the warmth of the fire, even if you are hungry. You know what I mean? Even if the camping trip didn't go as you necessarily planned. And finding things that you can appreciate and finding things that you can be grateful for will keep you in the space of continually having your needs met. Because my needs are met and I haven't worked in a minute. So, but it's time to get back to that. I don't like not working. I've been working since I was like 14. So, I started early and I like stuff. And to get stuff, you know, I got to work. So, I worked a little bit last summer and like a month, September to October, I worked. Um, but also, I was in school and I got enough financial assistance with school to cover a lot of the things until like December. So, oh, and then we got this Six of Wands when it comes to fearful. So, we're definitely like, all of these came out upright. Work! Except the Ten of Pentacles. I mean, when it comes to being fearful, like we're conquering that. We're just leaping. We're just going. We're just going for it. Right? And like I said, it's like here, it was like, we ran into the haunted house, we got spooked, we came out, we walked back in, we realized it's a surprise party. Hey, gotcha, sucker. But if you would have been too scared, you would have missed your party. So don't be so afraid that you missed your party. Sometimes you just got to be strong. You just got to be brave. You just got to move into that unknown. That's what the breakthrough is about. Moving boldly and bravely into that unknown, trusting that, you're going to be guided and supported along the way because you're loved, you know. But Six of Wands, overcoming those fears and just taking the leap. This isn't the Fool card, but see how she's still taking that leap, kind of? She's just like, woo! You know what I mean? She's just going for it. And sometimes that's what you have to do. I feel like there's always going to be, not always, but even if you come across fear, even if you come across anxiety, be so committed to yourself. Love yourself enough to be brave and make those choices anyway, especially when you know it's going to elevate you and propel you into the space that you want to be in. And just trust that like you're not going to come upon these experiences that aren't great, and even if you do come across an experience that's not great, like you're healed enough to know when a situation is toxic and when to exit and when to walk away, right? And so there's just so much that you don't have to worry about anymore. Like you may still feel anxiety, but I mean just go for it. And it's interesting that we have the Ten of Wands here between the 4 and the 6. That's almost the energy of like partying too much. Like I got too much to celebrate, and I'm not complaining, but I can't keep going to these parties because all of the cakes and cupcakes and cookies and sugary drinks are starting to like, I'm starting to pack on a few pounds. It's like, you know what? We'll just hit the gym a few more times and keep celebrating. You know what I mean? That's like when things are too good and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm not complaining, but ooh, can I get a break? I'm always shocked. I'm always shook. I'm always surprised. But that's a fun energy. I love it. And then we have this Three of Cups celebration overall. And I feel like, especially going from this route into this breakthrough with that surprise party, I feel like you're going to have loved ones there. You're going to have friends there. You're going to have departed ones that you loved and cared for and appreciated there. You're going to have your angels and your guides there. It's like this is the space that they've been preparing you for, that you've been healing into. And you are strong enough to claim victory even in situations where the past and your surroundings would have you believe otherwise. Just keep striving bravely forward and you'll get there. I think that's what I'm going to title this. Keep striving bravely forward. Despite the anxieties, despite the fears, despite the worries, despite the way that things played out in the past, despite the old sort of dynamics and paradigms, because things have changed and things have shifted because you've changed and you've shifted. And if you haven't changed or shifted, then maybe keep being scared of everything. But if you have, trust in the healing that you've done, you know? And I'm going to end this here. This was a pretty, I mean, it's still an hour and 10 minutes, but it's fairly short. If I would have had one card, it would have been shorter. You know what? I ain't going to apologize because they both came out together, and this is a beautiful message together. You're breaking through old foundations that no longer serve you to establish new ones. And I feel like, especially for some people, maybe even for you, you have broken through old foundations. You have built new foundations. You have expanded your foundation. You are on solid ground. That's why the Six of Wands is coming out where it's fearful. Because you've already won. You've already done the healing. You've already, like, you're already on this solid foundation. You've already gone through this breakthrough. You've already, like, you with the High Priestess in reverse, you already know this. You know that not only, like, you've known this. I feel like the moment where you began to see why the things happened that truly led to this true breakthrough, you can't even see it, that really led to this true breakthrough, when you were able to see through that portal. And it's interesting that, like, look at that. Maybe when you finally walked away from one situation, because that Ten of Pentacles is upright, they would both be like upright triangles, right? When you finally walked away from this one situation that you had so much of your own stability tied up into, when you finally walked away from that to claim the truth, and when you stepped through this portal, it's like you knew. Everything came into play at that exact moment. It's like the foundation, it's almost like this quick pour, quick dry kind of sort of feeling, where it's like the moment you made that decision, the foundation was already there and stable. Because when you made that decision, you weren't going to go back on it. So, I mean, that's been the message for the past few days. Don't be afraid to claim your reward. That's where I'm going to leave this. Bye. Have a great evening, day, whatever, whenever you see this.